If you click this video, I'm super excited for you because you really want to learn something interesting about yourself as an investor. You are ready to admit the truth that we all fall victim to. But don't worry, because self-awareness mixed with some really good principles will make you a successful investor. Pay close attention to these 5 biases and how they affect how your portfolio could grow. So starting off and kicking off at number 1, we're gonna be talking about confirmation seeking bias. So what is confirmation seeking bias? So confirmation seeking bias is a tendency of people to favor information that confirms their existing beliefs or hypotheses. So when this happens, you give more weight to evidence that already confirms what you already believe versus things you don't believe. In context of regular everyday, we have our news channels. So we have CNN on one side, we have Fox on the other side. So we know today that we are very polarized in the United States, for example. So when people want to listen to news that is very close to what they think, they will watch one channel versus the other. So if I really am liberal, I'm probably watching CNN, and if I am conservative, I'm most likely watching Fox. So in the context of cryptocurrency and just investment, what does this mean? It means, for example, in my condition, I am super exposed to Solana and Ethereum, and I see a lot of ideas every day that confirms that those are great blockchains. So I invest a lot of my time trying to become a developer, investing my money on these chains and blockchains to get some value out of it in the same sense. So it could be you in that position as well, where you are investing in things that because you believe in the idea of what it could be, you're seeking that confirmation and you could be investing with this. So keep this in mind as you continue to invest. Confirmation seeking bias is huge because you always follow what you think is the truth. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth, but you follow it because it's confirming your current understanding. Number 2, we're going to talk about emotional attachment. The first thing I want you to know is sunk cost. So this is, you shouldn't be making future decisions based on the weight of already lost investments. So for example, if you already lost 80% on some investment that you already made right now, let's say you had $10,000 and you lost $8,000. So you're only down to $2,000 of whatever that investment was. The thing you should do here in this position is you should come up with a new strategy of how you want to go about investing and follow those principles. So it's not about you waiting to see if the market is going to go back up. And I'm not telling you to sell anything that you own, but do take this time to make that decision for yourself. Make that decision from a clear headspace and not because you have hope that something is going to come back. Make an investment from a perspective of where you're currently at and where you want to go and where you think is going to take you that direction. The second thing is taking losses. No one wants to take a loss, but we all have to lose at some point. The thing is losing less and winning more. So attach yourself to your principles again and other great investors around you. I'm sure you know a handful of people that are investors. If you don't, try to find people online. There are a lot of resources where you can find other really good investors and just see their opinion. Doesn't mean you have to take it, do your own research, but it's good to mix yourself around what you want to become. The third thing under emotional attachment is missing new opportunities. FOMO is huge. It's the biggest thing ever. FOMO is everywhere. Control your emotions because the market is always going to be volatile. But don't get too attached to one idea because then you could be missing new opportunities. Always keep your eyes peeled because new opportunities are always going to be around you every day and you do not want to miss it. You're going to miss a lot, but the ones that you shouldn't miss, you shouldn't be missing. And you know the ones that you shouldn't be missing because it will seem natural and it's going to come easy to you. The third thing I want to talk about is overconfidence bias. Well, not overcoming it, but being aware of overconfidence bias. I did it once, I can do it again. Yes, you can, but you should still follow your principles. Don't get caught up in the hype. When you win, understand what good investments are versus bad investments, and understand making good profits on bad investments. Don't mix the two things, because you could have made profits on really, really bad investments, and you think if you do it again, it's going to happen in the same fashion. It's not always the case. So again, have good principles that you're following. And if you do sometimes make good profits from bad investments, recognize that and make sure you're not getting stuck. The fourth thing I want to talk about is news. News is bias in its sense, or our current platforms and medias for news is very biased. So staying anchored to the first thing you learned is what usually happens on news, chasing the success stories and people's exact path of what they did, because you see what someone does, you want to do exactly the way they did it. But the world is very, it's not black and white, it's not fixed, it's very, very random. So what worked for one person may not work for everybody. It's just how the world works. Herd mentality and FOMO. So again, there's always going to be, in every cycle, herd mentality, FOMO. There's things you're gonna miss out on, and you have to be okay with missing out on things, because you're not gonna catch every single wave, but you should catch your own waves, the ones that are meant for you. Following recent news without accounting for past information. So a lot of things happen day to day, but it doesn't mean that in the overall context of what's been going on in the background, all of that is irrelevant. For example, if we have a bunch of FUD in the news today, oh, this is getting banned and this is getting banned, but you don't account for the fact that there are thousands of developers out there in the world right now building on these platforms, then you're following recent news versus accounting for information that we know and gathered over time about whatever it is you're investing in. The availability of information generally. So what is your sources of information? What are they? Are they credible? How easy is it for you to get access to information? And is it on time? Is it relevant to the current moment of investment? Things like that all fit into the availability of information. So keep that in mind. The fifth and final bias I want to talk about is authority bias. So this one is huge in the cryptocurrency space because everyone talks about their opinions and ideas. I just give a lot of my opinions and ideas, but who's to say the expert themselves are correct? No one really knows what's happening in this space at all. At least we kind of have a general sense of what the North Star and the end goal is, but no one has a clear idea of what that journey itself is going to look like. So remember, take everything you hear for a grain of salt. Always do your own research. Always make your own independent individual decision in this space, but always look to contribute if you can and when you can. Remember, this is not financial advice. You should always think for yourself. Everything I share here and anything you see online, you should take for a grain of salt every single time. Take samples of evidence from multiple different sources and make your own sound judgment. It doesn't mean you'll always be right, but at least you will stand a chance rather than just following somebody else's say so. Anyway, it was your boy Elijah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like hearing about some psychology behind investing, make sure you destroy that like button. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe because you do not want to miss any amazing content that we have coming up here. Anyway, it was your boy Elijah again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy and peace.
Don't speak to no one but the facts to the masses, pouring out the deuce in the